Yeah, this is a whole lot of nope, nope, nope. Looks like a burst from inside. I came out here. I'm not trying to have this. I don't know what's going on this year. I haven't seen a whole lot of praying mantises. Maybe that's why. Because normally I have them everywhere. But these things are just taking over. We already saw what happened with my grapes. Now I'm dealing with this with my pomegranates and other fruit. I don't know. I know a lot of people want to just let nature do their thing. Not me. I want to eat my fruit. I am not putting all this time, energy, money into all this just to let it get taken over. Is this you? Have you guys seen this happen? I don't think I've ever seen this. This is the most pomegranates I've ever had, but I've never seen this happen. And what this is a leaf-footed bug. It's creepy looking things. So I still have good fruit. Looks like that was a trap fruit. We're gonna get these sprayed. We're gonna get these protected. And you always want to look inside here because that's where they attack first. Inside the little octopus looking. This one's looking okay, so we're gonna get these sprayed with water first. Make sure everything's off of here. And then we're gonna get it sprayed organically. Some organic spray as well. I don't see anything in there. This reminds me of that praying mantis issue. At any rate, let's get to work. Like I said, at first you really want to get a nice high pressured water sprayer. Make sure you knock everything off. Bugs. Last thing you want is to get things trapped in here. But since I'm doing 3 layers of protection anyway, if there's anything in here, it'd die anyway. It's just crazy, man. That they came in and just destroyed this. Ate through that thick skin and everything. I can't deal with this anymore. This is like the more money, more problems. It's the same sort of concept with gardening. The more fruit, more problems. Does it look like one of those anime octopuses that they eat? Any anime heads like me? Alright, we're just checking out the other side. Make sure there's no babies. I don't see any eggs, anything weird. And where do they come from? Do they fly? Do they hijack a bird? Like, it's just always weird to me how things just appear in your garden that don't have wings. protected. Nothing's getting through there. This is thick enough. The holes aren't small enough, so like even this will protect against like fruit flies and things. This took a good hour to do though. But nothing's getting in there. These stupid leaf-footed bugs aren't going to get in here at all. I'm going to show you at the end though. There's multiple different ways to do this. This is the long route, but in a way it's better. Your leaves are nice and open. But at the same time, it took longer to do things one by one. And I can't even get to those over there. There's going to be sacrifice. And one's going into, some of it's going into the neighbor's yard anyway. So, and then that one, ain't no way. Maybe if I would have got these all sprayed in the beginning, I wouldn't have this issue, and I wouldn't even need to bag them in the first place. And the stuff that I'm using, it really is organic. The one I'm using, Captain Jack's, actually has spinosad in it, and it's like BT and spinosad mixed. Spinosad, I believe, is topical, like it'll kill things when it touches it, versus BT kills things after it eats it, messes up their stomach. And we even have new growth coming in. This one was just planted, rooted in the ground, moved it over, and it's already trying to flower. Man, I'm really glad I caught this before it got too bad. Everything's bagged up. Like my grapes are demolished. I mean, they're still growing, but I'll get some harvest out of it. I'll say it once, say it again. If you're gonna garden, you're gonna have a lot of stuff. You gotta really get out here and take a look at everything. There's no automation to this. Not fully, as much as I want it to be. I gotta clean up. This wind done blew everything around. Tired of the wind! Like, you don't want things to look like this. Look at the sorry state of my grapes. There's still some here, but those freaking colonizer or skeletonizer worms devastated this. This looks so pretty. But we're getting it covered anyway. And my peaches, I'm having peaches this year, David. Those birds ain't gonna get me. You don't only have to worry about bugs. You got birds. Some people got chipmunks. I ain't gotta worry about that, thank God. Not that I know of. All sorts of things. Look at this guy. There's so much fruit on here. I heavily thin this. Peaches will give their life for you. I thin the heck out of this, and there's tons of fruit. You don't really want multiple ones on one branch, like right next to each other. You're gonna give at least 6 inches of space. I love this time of year. Everything's looking great. And these are in pots. This is more than enough fruit for one person, for a family. Don't sleep on peaches. Let's get to work.
One of these mornings, let's go. Bye.
I do really love this type of fabric. These type of bags has a zipper. Not much can get through here, not even little fruit flies. It also gets a little bit of protection, but as you can see, the leaves get kind of bunched together. And then eventually, you have the bottom of the bag. Zipper is really nice though. Got one over here on its own. And you got to have these clips. Things are lifesavers. I'll make a video on some of the best sort of tools to have. Got this guy over here by itself, so that's what's good for your organza bag. But I am seeing about at least 20 peaches in here or so, and this is in a little 15-gallon pot. Why are you guys not gardening? If you can't do it in the ground, get a pot, y'all. Super easy. Birds ain't messing around this year. But this guy, we can't do that on here. So we have another option, and I think it's an easier option, to be honest.
One of these mornings, let's go. Bye. One of these mornings, let's grow. Fire.
Once we start changing color, that's when I know I need to get them protected. Because these are in pots, I'm able to clip the pots. What's also nice about this one is it adds some sun protection, but nothing's getting in there. I think everything's good to go. Blueberries are protected, however, bees can't pollinate, so it's a double-edged sword. I don't know, but birds ain't eating them like this one over here. But these clips, again, come in handy. Clipping the pots, clipping the branches. I'm definitely gonna have to fix this tree. Got another little protector over here. Little owl buddy. The wind makes that head move. Any little sort of touching it makes it move. But yeah, this is what we're working with. I kind of think this is easier in a way because you can just kind of throw it over. It definitely takes up less time, especially if you have another person to help you. Birds can't get trapped in this one like it can in the grapes. So that's nicer in a way. Protect your fruit, people. Let's take a look at this guy. ain't playing around. Again, the clips come in clutch.
Let's grow.
I don't have a lot of fruit, but I have enough fruit. And I got this whole thing covered. This one's a little bit harder to work with. It really depends on what you're trying to protect, though. I've heard... Is that another one of those flies? I gotta spray. It is crazy. Last year I had the white stuff on here. And it kind of caused some issues, I think. Like the fruit didn't... It blocked a lot of light from getting in those inside pieces. But as you can see, I still got clusters. Still got clusters of fruit. So I'm excited. I mean, I still have something, but just the devastation. I don't know if you remember how this looked at first, but there was so much fruit everywhere. I got little pieces here and there. This is enough, don't get me wrong, but I'm definitely not giving it up to the birds. And birds can get trapped in this stuff, like I was saying earlier. I've heard horror stories. Depending how you look at it, I don't want anything to get hurt. I do have a camera that looks on this area, so it'll notify me if anything happens. And I work from home mostly, so I'm generally here to counteract anything. But this stuff is super airy. Fruit flies can't get through. It's not like this stuff where nothing's getting through that at all. But if your plant needs light, this is kind of what you gotta use. Looks like this is getting a little bit of mold. I'm gonna have to spray this with fungicide, fungus. But I'm gonna leave it. Probably should cut it off so it doesn't spread, but I'm definitely getting into the idea of spraying and not just letting things happen. To each your own. And this stuff's kind of coarse. It's gonna be fun to take off. But yeah. It's another way of protection. There's so many different ways, guys. Like, I think that's another one of those flies. Everything's attacking me this year. I don't know what's going on. These things will land on this grape, put some eggs here, and then worms will be all over. This is what happened, and eat everything.
Let's grow.
You gotta spray to protect against the bugs,
5,
and you gotta net to protect against the birds. Luckily, that's the only issues we have here for the most part. Let's get on with it.
Alright, let's talk about this real quick. So these come in really different shapes and sizes. This is bird netting. It really is just a net. It's open, it's more open. I like this stuff. Sometimes the issues are though that birds can get in these and get trapped, and you really got to stay on top of things with this. You don't want anything to get hurt, or maybe you do, I don't know, but to me I don't want. So, but this is pretty cheap, and it comes in, look how much that is. This is gonna cover everything if I wanted to. Also got these sort of nettings. These are nice because they come in bag form generally. You saw me put these on my peaches, and they have like a zipper, as well as a tie down. And you can generally put this whole thing over a smaller tree. Pretty nice. And then you have big netting like this. This is safer though, when you think about it. This will cover entire trees. It kind of gives a little bit of shade. Nothing gets through this though. This is like not even little gnats. So this will protect a little bit better. It's more of a headache because there's no zipper on it. I'm sure you can get these with zippers, but I like this stuff too. Everything has its own uses. And then we're talking about organza bags.
5,
These are nice. Generally, they come with you just put it around it and you can tighten it. And it generally stays. You don't even need to tie a knot. This is what I used on the pomegranates. And these are nice. Nothing really gets through it. The issue though with these is that you have to go through and put them on individually on everything, so it takes forever. But they are nice, kind of, which you just have so many different options. And then there's other things like this. These are potato sack bags, right? Generally has a drawstring. Open that up. This could provide a little bit more shade, and maybe you have something that's like a long branch or a smaller tree. So you can be creative with things. I also have some that are like wine, kind of like organza bags, but with wine bottles. They're generally longer. They're like these, except longer. So if you have like a whole branch you want to cover, maybe you don't want to do just the fruit itself, maybe you want to do a whole branch. The thing is, there's options. You get some different types. There's lots of different ways of doing it, but the main thing is you're trying to protect it against these birds and these bugs and things like that. When it comes to birds, I like this a lot because this kind of shades everything. Birds can peck through this. I haven't had any issues with it, no, but they can. This is pretty nice as well, but this will kind of not allow light through in the sorts, so this adds some shade. Realistically, I wish birds weren't so dumb, because I like this. This allows a whole lot of light through, so sometimes there's issues with the leaves. You start covering up entire leaves and maybe it's gonna have an issue. Like I did it once with my grapes, and my grapes came out smaller because they weren't getting enough light. I'm trying to cover it up with this. Cover up with this though, all the light still gets through. But the birds. But that's it for this one. Leave me a comment, tell me what you think, if you have any questions, concerns. More importantly, get out there and garden. Let's grow.
One of these mornings, let's grow.